Hello, Violent Pirates. How's it going, seventh graders? It's just good old Mr. Shornack here. And I saw that you guys are reading The Outsiders, and I've read that book many a times. It's a lovely book. And I see we're getting into chapter 5, and I always love helping out with this chapter with whoever is teaching seventh grade because it in this chapter focuses heavily around a poem by my favorite poet of all time. His name is Robert Frost. He is an American poet. He's the only poet that's ever won 4 Pulitzer Prizes. The Pulitzer Prize is the highest honor that a writer could ever receive. I believe he's the only person that's ever won 4 Pulitzer Prizes. He was born March 26th, 1874 in San Francisco, California. He died January 29th in Boston, Massachusetts. Um, Again, this poem that we're going to talk about today is called Nothing Gold Can Stay. It's a beautiful, short little poem um, that is up in the catalog with some of his very famous poems, including that I'm sure you've maybe heard, if not known as him, like Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, The Road Not Taken, After Apple Picking, Out, The Death of the Hired Man. He's just got so many collections, so many different poems. Like I said, I absolutely love him. He's the reason that I changed my major in college from a history major to an English major. There was something about just reading his poem in English introductory to English 101 in Pete Illick's class back in 1998 that just has stuck with me all my life and has made me the writer, I think, the scholar, the intellect I am nowadays because of him. I loved him so much that let me go to a picture. I love Frost so much that I named my cat after him. Robert's been gone for 5 years now, but his name was Robert Frost Shornack. He used to get mail from the veterinary clinic that would say Robert F. Shornack. Okay, I'm going to slow down a bit because I'm talking too much. But this is Robert Frost right here. Like I said, very old man. He died, if I can remember, 89 years old. He wrote, read some poems at John F. Kennedy's inauguration. He was going to read a poem that he wrote, but because the day was so windy that he couldn't get to it. He's just old. At that point, he was about 86, 87 years old, that he decided, to read his poem, The Gift, outright. Like I said, he's probably one of the most famous poets in American history, along with Emily Dickinson and hold on, like Emily Dickinson, Edgar Allan Poe, um, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, Walt Whitman, again, all these great poets. Now, again, I could keep talking about Frost and Frost and Frost all I want, but let's go to the poem itself. Let's read it, and then I'll analyze it. I'm going to move myself, make it a little bigger so you can see. And then kind of have you guys understand why S.E. Hinton probably put this in the story, of the outsiders. So, nature's first green is gold. I know, Jimmy. Her heart is hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay. So this poem is what's written in iambic trimeter, meaning that all the lines, if we counted them by syllables, are supposed to be 6 syllables. Like nature's first green is gold. Her hardest hue to hold. Now, the problem is line 3 and line 8 are not 6 syllables. Line 3 is actually 7 syllables, and line 8 is actually 5 syllables. But they set up that way to kind of give it a sing-songy look. So let's do a close read of each line and kind of talk about what it means and how it relates to the story. And then I'm going to find a YouTube video of Robert Frost himself reading this poem, because again, he did, he died in 63, where he was actually recording records where he was reading his own poetry. So nature's first green is gold can look literally about just like, something first coming up in spring, and not that it's gold, but it's just beautiful. And same thing, we can look at this metaphorically as nature's first green is gold means spring, like when something first happens, like a first love, like innocence, like anything like that. It is beautiful. But it's also the hardest hue to hold. It's the hardest thing to hold on to. Nothing can stay that perfect, innocent, beautiful that we always want something to. Again, when he says is her early leaves a flower, again, that flower is beautiful. You love looking at it, but only so an hour. Again, things cannot last. Again, I whenever I see this, but only so an hour, I think of Shakespeare's Sonnet 18, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Kind of the same, in the same vein that we cannot keep our beauty. We cannot keep our innocence. We cannot keep everything perfect the way we want. Then leaf subsides to leaf. Again, life is going to subside to life. Everything is going to subside to itself. It's going to get older. It's just not going to keep what it was when we first saw it. So Eden sank to grief. As for those who are of a certain religious preference or denomination, Eden was the Garden of Eden in the Bible, where even this beautiful place that God created, that he meant to be just the greatest place in the world, because Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, even that place fell. So dawn goes down to day. So again, as beautiful as dawn is, it has to go down to day, and day gets hotter, it gets uglier, maybe the wind blows, all that good stuff. Nothing gold can stay. Basically, just nothing can stay what it was. Your beauty will fade. Things will die. Maybe love will change. Just your team may not always win games, may not always win championships. Nothing is always going to be gold. And that is absolutely 100% true when it comes to what goes on with Ponyboy and Johnny from the fight they get in the Socs. I think S.C. Hinton put this in there again because they've lost their innocence. These young boys who would just want to go to movies, want to hang out with their friends, want to do this, weren't huge into fighting, were great students, but something happened. That fight with the Socs shattered their innocence. And now they have to look at life much more different than they did, 5 minutes ago, 2 hours ago. Life just looks different for them. For them, nothing gold can now stay because of the actions that were committed. And I think that's why Hinton kind of put this in there, that again, life just cannot stay that beautiful, innocent way that we've always wanted it to. So, I'm going to go into YouTube. I'm going to finish off by having Robert read this himself. Let's see if he does this. No, see, I want one that Robert himself has read, because I do have one. If I can't find one, then I will get the one on my iPod. Let's try this.
On every vacation at a verbal home, there's someone like you who reunited the.
Okay, hold on, kiddos. I found one. Let me get my bumbus head out of the way.
Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf. So Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day. Nothing gold can stay.
Kiddos, thank you very much for allowing me to come into your classroom. Thank you very much for letting me teach Robert Frost again. Anytime anyone in this school teaches Frost, I ask if I can butt in because I love that man so much. Like I said, he got me into writing and reading poetry. I became the scholar I am today now. Like I said, I love him so much I named my cat after him. Thank you very much, children. I enjoyed this. You have a super sparkly day.